Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Okay, Dr. Navarro, you got to get back to the White House, understand, so I want to make sure we use the best of the time. I said today in Axios, they had this red alert of everything's wrong with the Trump administration. I said it's very simple. We made these bets, big structural bets, game-changing bets about bringing manufacturing jobs that for 50 years have bled out. We need action, action, action. And the focus has always been growth, jobs, and higher wages. The floor is yours.
It's growth, manufacturing jobs, and higher wages. And that's even more important in an age of AI, because even though robots are going to be doing a lot of the manufacturing, that's where people work with hands.
Don't go Elon Musk on me.
No.
Continue on.
I can't stop robots from doing stuff. It's just happening, But let's talk about, first of all, let's do the trade thing here. If all goes well at the Supreme Court, this country will rule the world.
What do you mean by that?
There's a definitive case on whether or not the Trump defensive reciprocal tariffs can be imposed in times of national emergency. And I had a piece this week in the Federalist on...
And we put it up. It was amazing. But why, if let's say the court supports your theory and the president's theory of the case,
so what that allows
why is that going to make us a manufacturing super chip power?
What that allows us to do is, first of all, defend our manufacturing base. Because the problem we've always had, Steve, is that countries around the world, it's not just China, it's South Korea, it's Japan, it's Thailand, Indonesia, they all cheat us. And they gain an unfair competitive advantage, which in a zero-sum game naturally ships our jobs offshore in our factories. Okay, that's been going on since China joined the WTO in 2001. So, first of all, you have to defend the perimeter. And then second of all, because the tariff will be up and make it a level playing field, it's going to attract foreign investment to come here, because that's the only way they can avoid the tariff. So a combination of domestic and foreign investment will in turn increase jobs and productivity is the key to rising wages. That's the formula. It's pretty standard stuff going back to Alexander Hamilton. Literally going back to Alexander Hamilton.
The American system.
Yes, he had a famous treatise about the manufacturers.
And by the way, reports on manufacturers, which is as important as the Declaration of Independence.
Yes. And what we're suffering from now, and this is again why folks have to be patient with us. We had a printout again where manufacturing jobs are going down, not up today in the jobs report. But the problem is that you don't get the manufacturing jobs until the facilities are built. And
you get the construction jobs.
You get the construction jobs, but you don't get the manufacturing jobs. And so that's not showing up in the data yet. But the construction jobs are. And so we're going to be in a very, very good place if the Supreme Court upholds us on the law. And I've argued now in two different pieces that we're really good on the law. Okay, they can do that if they want. So that's
the briefings were amazing, and even people. We had the Washington Post reporter, I think Lynch, in here, David Lynch, who is a globalist, who said he was not a fan of this and not a fan of yours until he read the briefings. He actually said, "I think they got an even shot to win this." Yeah. Now the oral arguments were different, but let's leave that.
No, they weren't. Steve. I did the deep dive on that, and that's the basis of the Federalist piece. I mean, I think you have to understand that it's the role of the judges to go after the government.
Definitely.
Right, and the plaintiffs, and they did a good job of doing both.
Gorsuch did it,
but you could tell what the basis, the perimeters of the argument were, and I think in the end of the day it was very favorable.
Let's say it goes against us. What happens if it goes against us, or you don't want to speculate?
We have Plan B, but this is not the time we're going to put that out. Now the second part of this is the big beautiful bill.
Hang on for a second before we leave that. You said if the American people are patient with us, we are an impatient people. Dr. Navarro, you know that more than any because you're the most impatient guy I know.
My problem, in terms of messaging, that I'm going out regularly now and trying to solve, is to explain to people exactly where we're at. Remember, the predicate here is for people to understand how we got here. They can't forget that it was Build Back Better from Biden. It was the Green New Deal. It was the open borders.
The Great Reset.
It was everything they did, Steve. And it was the Federal Reserve bad policy. And we are everything we do, Steve, and this goes back to me being on the stump in 2016 during the campaign, and you running the greatest campaign in American history. Everything we do is deflationary in a positive sense. Pro-growth deflationary. That's the sweet spot.
Give me Big Beautiful Bill.
Big Beautiful Bill. Look, the messaging on this has been difficult because the American people have not, let's be honest, American people have not embraced it for the beauty that it is. And it is beautiful if you think about what it's going to do. I mean, think about 100% expenses.
They haven't embraced it because it hasn't been explained.
Exactly. So let me try.
It's the last shot to do something that's focused on capital coming back for rebuild our manufacturing base.
Capital, domestic capital in particular, okay? Because, I mean, just think about it. 100% expensing for investment in manufacturing capacity. 100% expensing.
One-time good deal.
One-time good deal. I mean, that's like in and of itself.
Yes.
Is just a beautiful thing. And then if you look at the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, that's putting thousands of dollars every year in a family's pocket.
Billions in people's pockets, particularly starting next April 15th.
I'm talking about individual families, okay? Which is where I like to think. You know, family and 40, 50,000, it's like that's a lot of money. When you get those kinds of
the president's so enamored with the way you guys have structured the tariffs is that he wants to cut a $2,000 check to each. Now there may be some structural issues about that, but as far as the External Revenue Service, he wants to make citizens he wants to make citizens a revenue sharing deal.
Look, we're being attacked on this fake affordability word when we invented this word, okay? Because here's another stat for you. I know you'll steal this from me in the next show without footnoting me. If you look at real wages, Steve, they went up 8% during Trump land. Biden, they went down 3%. That's an 11% swing.
Yep.
Okay? That's real money, Steve, okay? That is real purchasing power. And we will do that again with certainty because everything we do is designed
this time to drive not just wages, higher wages.
I mean, look, we had the mantra, you know what the mantra was, like we cut taxes, to cut the regulatory red tape, strategic energy dominance, and fair trade. Every single one of those raises wages in real terms,
and particularly blue collar, and
because it's not only it boosts our manufacturing base, it basically is deflation.
Can I make a strong recommendation?
Please, sir.
You and the Secretary of Treasury and maybe Hassett, the three amigos, should be hammering this every second of every day.
That's all I'm going to do,
It's a
Steve.
smart bet.
Yeah.
The bet is going to take some time, but you're tracking that it's working, and we got to hammer it. I want to pivot.
Let me tell you what, just quickly. The hardest thing to get out that message every single day is the friggin' news cycle.
I know, but you got to press start.
I understand. Go ahead.
Okay. The vice president had a town hall and had a sit down with the great Matt Bull at Breitbart today, and said in that's, hey, he says, listen, winning the midterms is so important because if we don't, the way these radical Democrats, and you saw last night, they're trying to intrude in President Trump's as commander-in-chief, outrageous. And President Trump said today it's seditious behavior. We did the whole first part of the show with Mike Davis in studio to talk about that. But the vice president said people who are just doing their jobs today will be targeted to go to prison. What I said at the CPI speech, and they use the example now all the time, Comer does, of Navarro and Bannon. This is why your book is so important, right? I want people to get the book. You went to prison because they don't have to. But we're seeing this happen again, and we need people to start thinking in that mode.
Well, let me correct the vice president, okay? Because what he should have said is, if they win, everybody's going to prison, and Bannon and Navarro are going to prison for the second time.
Yeah.
You get it?
Exactly.
Just kidding, JD.
Yeah.
But it is so serious.
Let's play. Let's play the vice president.
blind us to the fact that we are up against a radical leftist movement that murdered my friend a couple of months ago and that would throw many people in the Trump administration in prison, not for doing anything illegal, but for not following the far left's agenda. That is the real opponent here. A political movement in this country that has no animating principle, that has no agenda for the American people. Their sole obsession is to take down Donald Trump and anybody who helped Donald Trump govern. Focus on the enemy, have our debates, but focus on the enemy so that we can win victories that matter for the American people. That's my message.
That's literally ripped from the pages of your book.
I went to prison so you won't have to. It is literally ripped, and it's real.
And
Steve.
JD's
it's absolutely real.
JD's not a guy that has a hair on fire. He's pretty straightforward,
Yeah.
right? So when he's saying this to Boyle, that's sending a huge message that we need to worry about this.
And there's two things to stop this. One is to make sure we don't lose the House, and we have to have that conversation, Steve. The other is for one of us or both of us to win our cases so that we get a set of laws that will make it harder for them to do it. It's very frustrating to me, Steve, that we're 10 months in and we still haven't held the people accountable who went after me and you and Scavino and Miller and Giuliani. We haven't held them accountable
There's
yet.
a grand jury.
That pisses me off.
I know you get a bounce. There's a grand jury that's looking at the Schiff situation with Ed Martin, who's one of the best of the best. Or federal grand jury and a criminal thing on Ed Martin. I know you get a bounce. Social media, where do people go? We're going to do this again.
Best thing to do is go to peternavarro.com, peternavarro.com. The website has the gateway to everything, including I went to prison so you won't have to.
One more time, where do they get the book?
peternavarro.com. Just go right there, and you can get it on Amazon. Do yourself a favor. Get that book, give it out as a gift for Christmas, and I'm telling you, this is something that if we don't stop these Democrats, we are going to prison. I went to prison so you won't have to. Make me a truth teller.
J.D. Vance summed it up. Assassinate Charlie Kirk and coming after all of us. Dr. Navarro. Not too bad.
Nice to see you back in D.C. for a change. Instead of out there on the tennis court or golf course or beach.
Okay, we're taking a short break. Dr. Navarro, thank you very much.
Yeah, Kenny's working his ass off.